All right, let's switch to Kolkata Knight Riders, who recently announced Nitish Rana as captain, which I don't think they had much of choice after Shreyas Iyer got injured, Sanjay. So, what are the chances? KKR and Punjab Kings, both of them are competing for the wooden spoon.
Yeah, I would think so. This is for the first time I'm feeling really bad about KKR's prospects in the IPL. Typically, they have had very strong starting level, and they might still be able to put up a decent squad. But the whole captaincy situation with Shreyas Iyer injured, etc., because they've invested so much for his captaincy. Then Dinesh Karthik a couple of seasons ago had the captaincy. Owen Morgan had it. I just seems very unsettled, and I don't think they're gonna progress beyond number six probably. So definite bottom half for me. But they've always had support in Calcutta, and they've got strong players: Andre Russell, Sunil Narine. But yeah, something just doesn't feel right. That I'd be amazed if they end up in top three.
Yeah, and Adi and Shivam, their strategy at the auction was also not really surprising because they didn't have much money, but they also did not retain the big core. They have Narine and Russell, who probably are past their prime, but they still can click. But I don't think they can go along all the 14 games in such a long tournament, is how I'm seeing this.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah, Aditya.
No, you go ahead. Yeah.
No, I think where, we won't go into that whether it was the right decision or not, right? But just to give you examples, Sunrisers knew when they, wanted to see beyond Warner and they let him go, right? And there have been other instances in the past as well where no matter how successful that player was for you, for your team, right? But at a certain point of time, you need to realize, okay, that this is not happening anymore, and we have to move on, right? Mumbai moved on, right, from Pollard. Okay, they were smart enough; they didn't let him play for anybody else. They made him the batting coach. But I think it's high time KKR need to think about Russell and Narayan, right? They might have a good season this time, but I think this is probably the last season or maybe just the third season, right, with the 3 year cycle. But I think they have to look beyond these two players. Nitish Rana was the obvious captaincy choice, right? Thank God they didn't make Shardul Thakur the captain. There was some news coming in that he was one of the captaincy contenders. So Nitish Rana, I think he has been that one bright spot in the last 7-8 years, yeah, and he has been in this team since the Gambhir days. So I think Nitish Rana, see, captaincy, and he has some captaincy experience, right, from the Delhi Ranji team. So of course, your bottom two, bottom three is a short, with KKR being there. But I think the biggest mistake that they did was to let go of Shubman Gill. They somehow had to retain him. He could have played a huge role here and could have been a potential captaincy choice with Iyer not there. And now with whatever things is left, probably your Venki Iyer has to come good, from that Morgan season, and probably you'll see Liton Das do well. I think Liton Das has been in good form for the last 6 or 8 months. You might see a Bangladeshi player apart from Shakib doing well in IPL for the first time. So, and Mustafizur in a couple of seasons. So yeah, all in all, I agree with Dubedi. We feel bad for KKR, with what all is happening. But yeah, you're for sure your bottom two, bottom three. Unless some miracle happens, Russell goes mad and brings back those days when he used to smash Siraj and probably everybody like crazy. So unless that happens, definitely bottom four.
Yeah, I think KKR, if you go back to whom they retained, like Russell and Narine, of course, they've retained them. They've been good for the franchise over close to a decade now. But the two Indians they retained were Varun Chakravarti and Venkatesh Iyer. Both of them were in the Indian team. Now they're nowhere close to the Indian team. Both of their form is like gone bad. And those were your main two core Indian players. And if they are not doing well, that's where the problem starts, right? Like now, even with the foreign players, you've got Russell Narine, then you will definitely play Lockie Ferguson because you got him for like 10 crores from GT. So that's three. And then you've got just one spot. Then you actually got like good players. In Southie, Shakib Al Hassan, and Litton Das. So those three options are there, but you can only play one. So that kind of puts you in a tough spot. Umesh Yadav is like hot and cold. One season he'll be amazing, other season he'll like give like 50 runs in 4 overs. So I don't know which Umesh Yadav will turn up this season. And then with the batting, like Shreyas was critical for their batting as well. So the balance is not there for me. Like, yeah, definitely bottom five. Wouldn't be surprised if it's bottom two also, right? Because Narine and Russell, who are so core to them, I don't think they're in such good form, like from like the other season, other leagues that they are playing. Like, so it's tough for them.
And Aditya, both were absolutely miserable in that Dubai league. And the quality, we discussed that the UAE league, the quality is not that good. Pollard is scoring runs, but even in that also both were absolutely miserable.
Like your retired IPL players were doing well, and your like main players were not. So unless they pull the rabbit out,